Yeah, we like to sort of. I mean, it's like the process. It's FED is the acronym we use. FED, find, expose, defund. I mean, that's our playbook, right?
My view is just these things sound so depraved that the moment you find them and expose them, they get defunded.
And
Not
that's
always, but
well, that's how we close the circle, right?
yeah.
We find it, we follow the money, Freedom of Information Act requests, open records analysis, going through the papers that they publish, then we expose it, right? Like Monkey Island, like we did here a few years ago. Expose it, get it out there. Hopefully, we don't get censored. We do, and then defund it. That's how we close. That was the genesis. You know, when I founded the White Coat Waste Project, I was fed up. I also was fed up with the failures of animal rights groups on this issue. Nobody was shutting labs. I mean, they weren't shutting the labs down. Not really. And not enough of them. And I realized, look, the elephant in the room was this was government spending, right? Dwarfing the private sector. Yes, companies do this. It's not good when they do it either. But the point is, the government was the elephant in the room, more than 2 to 1. And if they can fund a program, you can defund it. So that was the innovative twist. If you can fund a program, in theory, you can defund it.
There's a lot of arguments for the necessity of animal testing in certain areas when it comes to curing diseases or treating things. My view is, I get that, but I think what I hear right now is, if we don't, they have to have maximum level of transparency when it comes to doing these kinds of things, because it sounds to me over and over again, the stories we hear, it's not some noble experiment to cure Alzheimer's. It's not some noble experiment to restore function in someone who's paralyzed. It's, can a monkey smoke crack? Let's spend $40 million to find out. And you're just like, no, please, come on. Like that's ridiculous. It's dangerous gain of function research for the sake of a grant, and then a cover up if it goes wrong. It is. I think they try to get by. I'll put it this way: a decade ago, I'd hear arguments from people and they'd say, nobody wants to hurt the animals, but you do understand that if we're trying to cure a disease, we don't want humans to suffer in that process, so we're going to test on animals first. And I go, I get it. And then I read a book and it's like, did you know we spent $40 million to find out if fish feel pain? And I'm like, hold on there a minute. You're not talking about a noble cause. You're talking about people who don't want to lose their job.
Yeah.
And a perpetual cycle.
Oh, yeah. And let's hope when they're not trying to cure that disease, that noble cause,
they're making
that necessary evil. Yeah. Hopefully you guys don't make another one. I don't want to go through another lockdown. But our answer to that question is pretty simple. Find your own funding. If it's, for most cases, I mean, gain of function is an exceptional case, right? That's we don't want that. Nobody should be doing that. But that's, again, a little bit exceptional. But here's the thing. Monkey smoking crack. All right, Tim, you can have all. So look, I'm not going to ban you.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Tim, if you want monkeys to smoke crack, find your own funding. We won't stop you. Our organization won't stop you. Knock yourself out. But here's the thing. You got to raise the money yourself, boy.
Here, I guess. Throw a
Kickstarter.
I'm not for the monkey smoking crack in any capacity, but I get your point.
We let the private sector. I don't like it when the private sector does it, but let them do it. Because here's why. Remember, the whole Ghostbusters theme is they demand results. They're not going to fund a lot of this stuff, right? So we know that if we challenge the private sector to pick up the tab, a lot of this will dry up overnight.
I'm just imagining sitting down at let's say there's a steakhouse in DC, and you go to your business partner and you say, this is fantastic. We've got a meeting with this venture capital firm. And you sit down and they say, we're really interested. You guys are, your credentials are amazing. You're researchers from these universities. So what do you need the $50 million for? Get this. We're going to buy a bunch of crack and give it to monkeys. The guy's going to be like, thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Yes, some woke bankers are really going to fund that.
Right.
I mean, but Tim,
what's my out on this? Are we going to make a cure for crack addiction?
Well, we'll see. It'll go on for a couple years, and another couple years, another couple decades, and we're just going to have to keep spending the money. We kind of want a ROI. So we know that we'll be able to clean out a lot of this stuff by just shifting the burden, get it off the taxpayers' back. Privatize it. Don't socialize it. That's one way we handle it, for sure. That's one approach.
I mean, this is just an issue of the bigger issue of taxation. People don't know where their money's going, and the government has clever ways of funding these things through the Federal Reserve. It's a bigger conversation about modern monetary theory, but when they deficit spend, they're extracting the savings of the American people. So it's worse than just taking your tax dollars. They're devaluing your currency through these wasteful programs, be it animal research or otherwise. But I do find it fascinating that we're dealing with a debt ceiling crisis right now. Negotiations ongoing, no deal's been made. Oh no, the government's going to shut down again. Can we raise the limit? I know. How about we just take stock of where we're spending money first? How are we in a deficit spending position if we're funding monkeys smoking crack?
20 billion. That's 20 billion.
Wait.
And that's what we know about.
Wait, is it 20 billion just for the monkey smoking crack?
No. It's
That's a lot of money.
It is the sum total. And that, but here's the thing: the 20 billion, though, you said the right word, transparent.
Yeah,
we don't know how much they're actually spending. 20B is the floor, that's billion with a B.
Yeah.
Okay, not million, billion. That's the floor, not the ceiling. We know that the NIH, just the NIH, wastes about 50 cents on the dollar. For every one of those grants has an animal testing component to it. Some is monkey smoking crack, some is beagles having their vocal cords cut out and fed to flies, and some of it is gain of function animal testing. But that's the floor, not the ceiling. It could be a lot higher.
Yeah.
And that's just the NIH.
We talk about stuff like Flint, Michigan, a lot in the modern narrative. The Democrats complaining for a decade, the pipes need to be fixed. These poor kids, they're suffering.
Flint, from like the Michael Moore's movie from years ago.
Right. And my attitude is like, I completely agree with the left on this issue. How is it insert thing being funded is happening, and we haven't just gone in and spent the millions with an M, to fix the pipes in an American city where people are suffering? There's so many things that I could complain about. Why are we funding war in Ukraine? Why are we funding war in the Middle East? Why are we funding animals smoking crack? Before, like, I'll tell you this, if you fixed all of America's problems, cleaned the pipes in Pittsburgh, got fresh water in Flint, fixed those pipes, every city's crime is going down, mental health services across the board, we're all in flying cars with perfect health care, and then you say, now can we give the monkeys crack? I'll be like, well, I'm not okay with the monkeys getting crack thing, but if there's a pile of money laying around and you can justify, like, how is it that these, I know I'm singling out the monkey smoking crack, but it is just a really absurd example of wasting money. How is it that we're spending money on these things before helping Americans in need?
Anything is better than what we're spending. Anything is better than causing lab leaks, lockdowns, mandates. I mean, anything is better than what we're doing with how we're spending it. Anything.
So you guys are censored.
We are censored. We've been censored for a long time. We are still censored on Twitter right now. Okay, so we're still trying to run ads on Twitter today. Like,
is your account locked or anything?
Our account's not locked, but they're not. They're refused. They're banning us from running ads. We have written Twitter a check. They haven't cashed it, and the reason they gave us, literally, I think, what's today, Friday. So as of Monday or Tuesday, they're telling us because we're promoting lab leak information, and also they're saying we're not sufficiently credible on $20 billion being spent on animal testing.
Wait, they're saying you can't promote the lab leak
Correct.
theory? Jon Stewart promoted lab leak theory 2 years ago.
Well, Elon Musk is sharing our own FOIA investigation himself, Tim. That's terrific. Our gain of function. He literally was that. We're the investigators who funded the FOIA challenge that got that, and yet he won't take our money to run Twitter ads to promote it.
Tweet at him.
Please, yeah. Please unban.
What's your Twitter? Is it White Coat?
White Coat Waste is the Twitter handle.
But, and you guys are even in a business enterprise customer.
And they won't. Maybe he's still cleaning house from the woke policy people over there. Maybe he still hasn't gotten to it yet. I'll give him a little more time. But come on, Elon, you were supposed to be on Team Lab Leak here.
So what is on Twitter? You're trying to run ads to promote these stories, and they're saying no.
Yes, we literally have the emails from his people. His policy people are saying they're promoting COVID disinformation and lab leaking.
No, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Nancy Mace, The president says the government doesn't have to cut any spending, but the federal government spent $3 million in 2022 watching hamsters fight on steroids.
That was our FOIA investigation. Look, the video is right there of the Tim, the Roman
These are
gladiator.
the stupidest people.
Tim, Roman gladiator style death matches. We have the video. We have the secret video. They filmed it. We have the videotapes of them.
This is, I can't believe this country, man.
But Twitter won't let us run ads showing this stuff.
Why are they doing
Lab
this?
leak disinformation, COVID disinformation, they're claiming.